3, 2, 1. We are now live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to this week's episode of the WarWolf Podcast.
Yes. All right, so let's start with what I discussed previously. So aftermath of Charlie Kirk being shot by an Antifa retard who decided that he was the savior of the socialist revolution. No, you were a fucking limp wrist piece of shit who, frankly speaking, I want to see drawn and quartered. Hopefully you live long enough to bleed out. Don't go into shock too fast, baby boy. Oh yeah, I Poe was right. I definitely chose violence this morning when I woke up. Definitely chose violence.
It's appropriate at this point.
Yeah.
Hell, they just shot one of our guys in the neck.
They just shot the most vanilla moderate they could have found.
Yes.
Yeah. Not even one of our guys. One of the most vanilla moderates you could find.
Mm-hmm.
He was literally going around to colleges to do what colleges were designed to do, to talk.
Well, you can't have him going in and disrupting the recruitment grounds.
Very true.
Can't have him doing that.
Yeah.
Because if he does that, then they have less foot soldiers to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I do want to make it very clear to this little schlep. You are a foot soldier. You're not the savior. You're not the chosen one. You are simply a cog in the machine, good sir. Congratulations. You just took yourself out of the equation, by the way. And all your little cohort, most likely. Because as we have further developments, so now the eyes are on armed queers of Salt Lake City.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, so we have the eyes on them, and they're being investigated.
Yeah.
You have...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, sorry. No, go ahead.
And they have ties to Cuba, like pretty deep ties is what it's starting to look like.
I had not heard about this. Let me finish up what I'm saying real quick, and then we will get into that a little bit. So we have the armed queers, which, again, I do love Poe for saying what she said. It does sound like an SNL skit. You have the potential that this little shithead inadvertently found an Islamist terror cell that was producing IEDs in Salt Lake City.
Yes, I know. I laughed my ass off when I saw that.
Bro, I have to say this about that. It is hilarious that we have that story coming out, and then we have literally like the next day a story about a couple dumbasses blowing themselves up at a house that was being used as a bomb-making factory. It's like, holy shit. Like,
wait, I didn't hear
themselves, you idiots.
I didn't hear the second one. I heard about the first one where they tried to firebomb or bomb a news van.
Yeah.
And they got tracked back to their house, two Middle Eastern guys, 30-something-year-old, 51-year-old. And when the FBI went in, they found bomb-making materials and firearms. I didn't hear about a second place going boom.
Quick question.
Yeah, no, I had heard it on the side. I haven't been able to confirm where it happened, but I did hear it on the side that there was a big boom somewhere.
Quick question. Do they still get the 72 virgins if the only people they manage to blow up are themselves?
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
I got a quick question to ask. Who had Utah being a hotbed for insurgency on their bingo card?
And not even Mormon insurgency.
Yeah.
I did.
I haven't had this entire year on my bingo card so far.
I'm just saying I did. I fucking called it. I told you Utah was going to be a problem.
Well, yeah, but this kind of problem?
Yeah,
dude, no. Honestly speaking, because Utah was going to be a problem because this is indirectly because of the Mormons. because the Mormons have insulated themselves so spectacularly that it's created a very, very safe and cozy place for these people to exist. And so, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, it might not be Mormons right now, but it's a nice insulated location, just like Portland, just like Seattle, just like LA, where it's nice and insulated and safe to operate. I literally was talking about this for the past 4 months, bare minimum. So, I did. Bingo. But the thing is that all eyes are now firmly on the fact that we are seeing armed militant groups that are scrubbing their social media, because I bet you dollars to fucking donuts they go and they retrieve some of those images, because guess what? The internet's for fucking ever, bitch.
Yep.
I bet you.
Speaking along that line, don't mind me interjecting. The first group they noted that deleted their all their social media almost immediately, the Armed Queers of Salt Lake City. Last night I was watching one video report, I think it's on Matt Morris TV, coming across pictures of the one woman that was nominally the head of said group. And the picture was from about a year or two ago at some type of event. And it was a picture of the woman that was head of said group up on stage with none other than Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
Surprised me.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the same woman that has direct control of the economy of the entire fucking country. I wonder why. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But
also, was this an actual woman?
Yes.
Oh, surprising.
Mm-hmm. Well, basically it says armed queers. It doesn't say armed transgenders.
Fair enough.
But the point is that we've got eyes on them, and again, dollars to fucking donuts. I bet you if they recover some of their social media, because I bet you some fucking glorious son of a bitch fucking archived that shit on the Wayback Machine or somewhere. And it turns out that there's images of little shitbag with them. Would not be surprised.
Yeah, no, would not be surprised.
And even if no one archived it, even if you delete this shit, it's still all on the servers of the social media company. It's just, it's not available to the public, but the government can and does subpoena it and get it back.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I understand that. But then, of course, you have Islamists being outed.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, they stupidly tried to bomb a fucking newsman. I'm sorry, but, me being part Irish, I'm sitting, and Italian, by the way, so I got both sides of this. It's come on, can you not car bomb correctly?
Yeah.
Seriously? Come on, I'm fucking disappointed.
They're used to using the truck itself as a weapon of destruction, not trying
to True. But the point being is, so we have this retardation going on, and then the text messages or ostensibly text messages might be Discord, whatever. I don't fucking care at this point.
Those are the ones I sent you earlier are text messages directly between the two of them immediately after the shooting. And that is confirmed by the FBI.
So you have those messages, which at this point in time, it's okay, unfortunately that kind of shows that maybe the bottom didn't know what the top was doing. But at the same time, it's okay, so why did you try to destroy this note? Were you trying to conceal a crime? Were you trying to do this? Were you trying to do that? Bare fucking minimum, there's most likely going to be an obstruction charge against the little bitch. Yeah. But it is what it is. I was hoping for an accessory charge.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I happened to see the thumbnail for Redacted's latest live stream this afternoon. Now, apparently, like some of them on Redacted and some of the other media are now going the grassy knoll route, trying to claim, oh, those text messages were inconsistent. There's talking about things that happened before the shooting and then after the shooting, and blah, 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 blah. And how the hell was the FBI able to forensically recover what was on that note? They're going to grassy knoll deal, saying Robinson is basically Lee Harvey Oswald and taking the fall for somebody else doing it.
Oh,
yeah.
Of course they are. Of course they are. Because
of course, it hasn't occurred to anybody. Well, how did you recover what was on the note? Well, hey, genius, if he wrote that note on a pad of paper and then just tore off the top sheet, even if the original note was already burnt by the time you got there, somebody could take the pad of paper he wrote it on and look at the sheet underneath and see the fucking impression of what they wrote.
Yeah,
someone that
3 sheets under it.
Yeah,
I must say, as somebody that loves conspiracy theories, even this one's too much for me to believe.
Yeah, I mean,
well, okay,
they
okay.
have
So
his grandfather's gun with his DNA on it at the crime scene. Like,
I feel bad.
That's also the other thing. That's also the other thing. So we have all the criminality side of this, and then we have the family. So first and foremost, Dad is the one that recognized him from the fucking pictures, and then on top of that, Grandpa saw the picture of the rifles the rifles pictures, I should say. That's what I was trying to say. Saw the rifles pictures up on the internet after the government had released them, and immediately started contacting people, being like, who's got what?
Yeah.
Because he was like, that's my gun, which, oh, by the way, Mr. S2 Underground and Mr. all the Groiper fucking lunatics that decided to latch on to you, there's your fucking the magical scope theory for you. Oh, it was Grandpappy's rifle. Of course, if Grandpappy was slightly fucking shorter than the guy, then the fucking what's the term? The eye relief. The eye relief is going to be different.
And of course, the FBI also hasn't said they've got video of the guy limping up, showing him walking up home security. Obviously got the rifle taped to his back the way he's limping. Got video on him, security camera, going up the stairs in the building. Got video of him jumping off the roof with the fucking rifle. His DNA on the rifle. The only thing that's left that the FBI hasn't led on to is if they recovered the fucking bullet, and if the bullet matches the rifling on the gun, well, I'm sorry, but, case fucking closed here. Yeah.
Well, and here's the other thing, and this is the thing that really fucking annoys me about this situation, is they're now trying to claim, and mind you, this is mostly the Groiper crowd at this point in time. The Groipers are carrying a shit ton of water for the fucking leftists on this one.
What's new?
Fucking subhuman filth. But they are now trying to claim that, no, 20-year-old or however old fucking Robinson is, no 20-year-old talks like this, blah, 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 blah. What?
Okay, maybe not the, 85 IQ Groiper 20-year-old, but this guy was actually an intelligent person, if you look at his, schooling records. He was, 99 percentile.
It's not even that. It's not even that.
He had damn near perfect ACT scores and a 4.0 grade average and had got a full scholarship.
Yeah, he was 2 points off.
I want to point something out. There was one thing that people see, why wouldn't he call it a car instead of a vehicle? That doesn't seem right. He's the son of a cop. Mm-hmm. They don't call them cars. They don't call them SUVs. They don't specify unless they're writing a report. They refer to as suspect's vehicle.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
He has probably heard the word vehicle literally his entire fucking life.
You also get linguistic drift. So depending on the just common way you say it in the area is how we'll say it. You know, you got pop, you got cola, you got soda pop.
True.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's like, I honestly speaking, like, again, the Groypers are carrying so much water for the fucking leftists at this point in time. I look at both of them. Horseshoe theory is very real, by the way.
Yep.
At this point in time, they're one and the same. We might as well go Ouroboros on this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this shit is almost damn near a perfect circle. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
It's like a link a chain.
I just hadn't heard it that way.
It's like a link a fucking chain where it's like, oh, you know, there's a little gap. There's a very little gap at the bottom.
Yeah, it's like they're carrying the water for the very people who are blaming them for doing this. Like,
yeah, seriously, that's the fun part.
IQ
That's the fun
brown
part.
Groypers, fucking Mexicans.
Yeah, no, these room temp motherfuckers literally are blaming the Jews while being blamed by the leftists. Like, that's how retarded they are. That's how fucking room temp IQ they are. Is that they're blaming the fucking Jews while the leftists are blaming them. It's again, we should not let them procreate. We need to sterilize them, put them in a zoo, and let them frolic within, you know, confined space.
Yeah,
like, that's all we can do.
Speaking of leftists and Groypers, fixing to post a link in the side chat you guys need to check out.
Yeah, and so I just want to shout out to one thing I saw on Twitter earlier. When it first came out that that the shooter was in fact dating a transgendered individual, I can't remember who did it or who posted this, but they posted they reposted that saying, oh, so maybe it is a Groyper after all.
Dear God.
That was definitely the post of the week.
Oh my God, I love it.
I wish I had found this before we started recording, darn it.
Oh, just offhand, while we got a little gap here, you know, for those, you know, William and Stoner, for you asking how that finally ended up getting the said chief out of the inside of the boat. Well, let's just say it involved a lack of clothing and a lot of grease later on at night after wasn't anyone around to watch, you know, from the pier.
Sounds like it came right out of down Periscope.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I kind of figured either butter or lard was going to be involved. Also, I posted the link for y'all to check out, and William posted something too.
Okay, so real quick before we get into that stuff. So we've got, at this point in time, like, again, all the people who are sitting there screaming that, like, oh, this doesn't feel right, there's something wrong, the FBI's lying to us. It's like, okay, I'm sorry, you need to take a step back, stop huffing the bath salts long enough to fucking detox, and fucking go on a you know, find yourself retreat or something, because dear fucking God, like, you finally reached peak fucking cope. Like I'm sorry, at this point in time, if we're just going to automatically default to the FBI's lying about everything, we need to, you know, burn down the government now shit, then I'm like, okay, you're a fucking, again, you're room temp IQ, and I don't respect your existence whatsoever. So, oh well. Now, that being said, is the FBI trying to be incredibly hush-hush about this? Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. We have the potential of taking down an entire terrorist cell here.
Actually, more than one.
Well, yes, true. I was referring to the bombers specifically.
Okay.
But they inadvertently unearthed the fucking terrorist cell as part of this investigation. Like, Like, okay, yeah, they're going to keep things hush-hush for a bit because all of a sudden it's like, wait, there's fucking Islamist terror bombers here? Fuck, all right, well, I guess this week's got even more interesting. Shit. Like, of course they're going to keep things on the down low for a bit. Like, I'm sorry, you expect them to fucking release everything literally every second? You expect a live feed or something like that? Is that what we're looking for here? Do we want a Twitch stream? Like, is that what we're going for here? Oh, by the way, Twitch's CEO just got summoned to fucking Capitol Hill for allowing Hassan Piker and all of his little lemmings to do what they do. So
I know next Taku, Tectone, and Asmongold are going to be happy.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the whole point. Is at the end of the fucking day, it's like, what do you people fucking want? Oh, wait, you don't want anything. You just want an excuse to burn the house down. Got it. Okay? Cool to know. We'll handle you after we handle the leftists. We'll send you guys. You guys will be the stormtroopers. We'll send you in first. Well, we'll let you expend your lives before we expend ours.
Yep.
Make sure not to forget Destiny on that list as well.
Oh, boy.
No, Destiny. Okay, so Destiny's fucked anyways. He's been under criminal investigation for possession of CP. So, and I've heard a rumor. I have not been able to confirm it yet. I just heard it earlier this morning when I was going through. I heard a rumor that one of his lawyers has backed out of the case because Destiny can't keep his fucking mouth shut.
Oh, dear Lord.
Well, speaking of Destiny, it ought to tell you how piss poor of a person he is when his own son turns to the Groypers.
Yep.
Yeah. Or even better yet, when they had that one video of where he was on that panel at Piers Morgan, and when Anna Kasparian, of all people, has got more than ample reason to jump down your throat with both feet live on air. I mean, how big of a dirtbag are you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, per my understanding, he tried to bang Anna at some point in time.
Yeah. She rejected him.
That little gremlin attempting to procreate with you, I can understand why anybody would want to jump on his throat.
She rejected him, so he settled for Nick.
Ooh.
Destiny has never been the same ever since him and Nick broke up.
Yes.
Oh my God! All right,
that's almost an insult to Nick.
So let's just cover this stuff real quick. So I'll save. Yeah, we'll save that one for a bit here in a minute when we start talking about other stuff. So yes, a lot of people are not truly aware of this, but you got to understand, Antifa is part of the established politics of the areas that they're in, like across the fucking board. They help get these people into power all the fucking time. So, Seattle mayoral candidate using Antifa as security, not shocking whatsoever at all. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, not to mention a couple years ago, you even had this one woman who openly admitted she was part of Antifa and one of the higher ups, and she was actually openly running for mayor of Portland.
That's normal over there.
Yeah. Okay, so then we have the Armed Queers of Salt Lake City co-hosting educational workshops with Elm Fork branch of the John Brown Gun Club. So here's the one thing to understand about the John Brown Gun Club is the John Brown Gun Club is, they've been responsible for a lot of shit.
They're the ones that were responsible for the ICE shooting.
Yes.
Yeah, well, yes, I understand that. It mentions that in the post. There's more shit that they've been involved in.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because members...
look at their name. John Brown. Need more be said.
Nope.
Absolutely. He was a fucking blood-crazed fucking maniac that, honestly speaking, going back and looking at his history, I'm glad that we finally caught his ass and fucking hung him.
If I remember correctly, it was Robert E. Lee that caught his ass.
Based.
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure who led the federal troops to Harper's Ferry on that one, so I don't know. But
I think it was Robert E. Lee.
I would have to look it up. But the point is at the end of the day, you're talking about a group of people that, again, are very responsible for a lot of the agitation that's been going on as of late for the past few years. And then you're also talking about a group that has coordinated with other groups that have been operating in different places, like the backwoods of Washington, the backwoods of fucking Oregon, the outside areas of California, and so on and so forth. These different groups that have been operating. And what's one of the things that E.M. Burlingame brought up in one of his posts, and he's made several fucking posts that have been like a bit of a fuck me kind of moment. It's simply come down to he puts it very plainly. They are the stormtroopers. The trannies are the stormtroopers. They are going to be the ones that are sent in first so that they die. And then after the Great Revolution is finished, they don't have to deal with the trannies anymore.
So, question.
Go ahead.
Yep, it was Colonel Robert E. Lee.
What are y'all making of the shooter's alleged transcripts of his texts?
Well, if you look, oh, excuse me, are you talking about the ones that I posted earlier?
Yeah, they look really stupid.
They are, but those actually have been validated by the FBI.
Okay.
Which is why they're all over the different news channels. They were forced. Oh, those are real. Uh-oh.
Well, because I was reading them with my brother, and they look really dumb. They don't look like a normal conversation.
It was over a period of hours that they were sent back and forth, but yes, they do look like a couple 8-year-olds did it.
Well, yeah. Okay. So again, as I explained earlier, you're talking about, a fucking kid, one probably a little, risen with the tism a little bit, and then at the same time, you're talking about a kid that his dad was a cop, so he's probably going to use terminology that you might not see used in, like, for example, when you're texting with me, Gavin, how do I reply to you in the affirmative? I say copy, or copy that. I speak in a totally different way than the normal fucking person.
So you think he's speaking in video game slang?
Well, no, I think he might be. I think it's a crossover of his terminology and his father's terminology. Because again, his dad's a cop.
Well, I guess I could see, because if I showed you the way my father texts, he likes to use the King James a lot because he thinks so much of himself. He likes to use that era. Yeah, it's really, really cringe. But I guess I could validate that. Okay,
Dude,
okay,
again,
looking at this in text blocks, it makes a little more sense.
Yeah, and that's, you saw the paper form.
Yes.
Okay, so let me explain that real quick. So there are one of two ways that they either did that. They either pulled it from the metadata of text chain, which then it's in code form, so it looks weird anyways. Or
they pulled that directly off of the boyfriend's phone.
Well, again, they either pulled it from the metadata, or they literally typed it out. So that's just a formatting problem. Yeah, you're looking at it as if it's in a Google spreadsheet or some shit like that. Like, that's all that is.
Okay, so I'm looking at all of these. Delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who is that. Feds release photo of rifle. Okay, so they were communicating while the investigation was going on.
Yes.
And it's like over the course of time, the text chains seem to get a little clearer. Okay. I had to go through it a couple times because I'm like, this looks generated as hell at first glance.
It does. I agree.
And that's why I came in here and dropped the question on y'all, because I needed to know if my suspicions were valid or if there was a reason why I had suspicion. Or
Well, you're not the only one. Even some of the YouTubers and like that, like Clayton Morris on Redacted.
Yeah.
I watched part of his live stream earlier today was saying, well, this doesn't make sense. Up at the beginning, they're talking about stuff, right after the shooting, and then later on, they're talking about stuff that's way after during the investigation. Said this doesn't make any sense. So they were trying to go the grassy knoll route and try to claim that Robinson was a patsy there. But
I guess I'm glad
said if it's over the period of hours or days for that entire text chain, that would make sense.
Well, I guess it's it's a testament to our movement that we're able to sit down and go, hold on a second, this looks kind of funny.
Yeah.
But let's keep the suspicion high.
Well, again, trust but verify. That's the mentality. That's the mentality you have to roll with everything.
The news is cutting this stuff apart in so many bite-sized chunks that I have to ask and dig in order to be comfortable with concluding.
Absolutely, I understand that. But the point is trust but verify.
Yes.
There's also, I think, worth noting, while a healthy level of skepticism is good, one has to be careful not to, there is an old saying that to a hammer, everything looks like a nail, so too much skepticism can lead to one seeing, suspicion in everything.
Well, yeah, and that's the issue I tend to have with conspiracy theorist types. That it's asinine eventually when all they do is question the shape of the Earth. There's a type for that, typically.
Yeah. Or it's like the saying I had back in my younger days: always keep an open mind, but don't leave it so open that your brain falls out.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, my cat just ate an entire pot of dry catnip.
Oh dear.
Oh heavens.
Somebody's about to be messed up for a few hours, dude.
Well, welcome to hell.
Yeah. Get in the house, douchebag. I let you out for 5 minutes. Anyway. So, yeah. I just wanted to run that by you guys, because me and my brother read over that for a few minutes. I was like, this is so strange. The whole thing looks weird. But I guess somebody with his dispositions would talk weird to begin with, and I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, you gotta. I'd say you have to be a little bit touched in the head to actually go out and go ahead and shoot someone.
Yeah.
So did he fit the classic description of a mass shooter or a school shooter where he isolates himself for a period of time before deciding to make a move?
It does not appear to be so.
Parts of it, but not all of it. He went off to college as a relatively tism normal person with a 4.0, nearly 4.8 grade, and 2 points short of a perfect ACT with full ride. I don't remember what college it was. And stayed there one semester, or it was either 1 semester or 1 year, and he came back entirely different.
So what is it about these tism types where they're either unmovable in their ideology or incredibly impressionable?
So I want to speak on that, but also kind of expand on it, because it's more of a case that you're talking about a circumstance, going off to college, especially depending on the college that he went to. So getting a hold of his transcript and actually understanding his college life would be very important for this.
Very.
To build. would basically build out a very, very good data set for this.
He went to Utah Valley, correct?
I don't know.
He did not. I do not believe he went to Utah Valley.
Okay.
No. Where the shooting?
How did he know the terrain enough to know where to get a good vantage point to shoot?
I mean,
He had been there before.
You can probably spend like a couple of hours scoping things out if it like.
You think he had friends at the school? You think he had friends at the school that knew?
No.
I think you could find that out with like Google Earth, probably, if you know.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about any of that.
Real quick. Okay, chill the fuck out, guys. Okay, Gavin, you do this, and I love you for doing it. But at the same time, you jump extra questions in before an explanation's able to be given.
I'm sorry. I'm more inquisitive than I am a listener sometimes.
Yes, I understand. But
aren't we all at some point?
But the point is that you have if we were able to understand where he went and who he was associating with, we could build out a definitive file to show, okay, so more than likely, this person is responsible for this, that person is responsible for that, et cetera, et cetera. So more than likely, he went to a school, immediately got pulled into whatever group was responsible for radicalizing him, and then it was noted, probably, hey, Charlie Kirk's going to be here.
It wasn't.
Why don't we take an opportunity?
About a week in advance.
Well, and there's also suspicion that a larger portion of the trans community was aware of this.
Probably.
Well, yes,
it was a public event. It was advertised well ahead of time.
Well, no, because there's that, but like, I guess people are pointing suspicion at the idea that a lot of trans people on Twitter were pointing out that something big is going to happen tomorrow, end quote.
Yep.
Yeah, and just the point you were asking.
I just want to go on the record and say that those idiots are not representative of the whole community.
Absolutely.
No, and I understand that. I'm not going to be a leftist asshole and blanket everybody under one,
Okay, real quick. Stoner, I'm just going to be honest with you for a second, man. Doing that defense is exactly what lands the people who aren't in hot water.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, what you have is if you start running interference for people get suspicious.
Precisely. But I mean...
Whereas I let the motherfuckers actually talk for themselves. Like, for example, I got a couple trannies on my fucking, on my friends list on Twitter that I have no fucking problem with. Now, sometimes they have retarded takes. And I point out those retarded takes. And 9 times out of 10, they're like, okay, that's a good point. If you run interference, it makes them suspicious. I'm just going to be straight up in front with you, man.
Yeah, you do make a good point. It's just I'm so sick and tired of seeing everybody being painted with such a broad brush and treated like they're all a fucking monolith.
Also, I think it's worth noting, we have multiple times before said on different episodes, when we're talking about this, we're talking about, the activists and, the left-wing freaks, not necessarily everyone. Right?
Yeah, we're discussing and focusing on communists.
Yeah, we're talking about Trantifa, not some random normal person who happens to be transgender, right?
Trantifa's great.
Yeah, Gavin.
We can all agree and say Trantifa sucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was you saying, Mitch?
Okay, in regards to what you're saying about asking about Robinson's personality, was he, whether he fit like the mold, being a loner and like that. What I've seen, from different accounts like that, if he's been interviewing his friends from high school and such, said basically he started out in high school, kind of like he was a little bit of a quiet kid, not that big of a social circle. He said usually during lunchtime or when they had a break, they'd be sitting down and playing like, either card games or into online games and such. and a couple of them said that as it went, starting like about his sophomore year and going up, he started becoming more political and more argumentative, and giving indications from his arguments and arguing with people that he was already starting to move left wing. Like, it wasn't just college; he was already like getting online and possibly already finding some sites and like it, where he was already starting to move in that direction. And one semester he spent in college might have just finished the job right there.
So I got a couple of pitches for that too. One, he's probably taking the contrarian mindset against his dad, because my sister-in-law did that identical thing to her father. You believe something heavily because you don't want to fit the mold of your family, so you choose to become the ideological black sheep. And then, secondly, I can mirror perhaps a pattern in my own life where it's like around 16 or 17, sophomore, junior year, you start feeling a lot more negative. It's like a wave of negative emotion that hits your brain somehow.
Oh, all the hormones.
Yes, your hormones change, and the cortisol changes. The cortisol in your brain, you're imbalanced, and you're not going to be balanced back until your mid-20s. So I think, and I say that because it's like I remember going through a very, very just like I couldn't pinpoint why I felt this way. I just like around that time, 16, I just felt evil. I felt like shit, and I hated everything. And I feel like that, coupled with the ideological change and influence, could have been a thing.
Well, that's why.
It's here. Let me go real quick, if that's okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Where you were with what you were saying about that, some of the tisms, and it's a large family of them, slows that process down, so you're going through it for a longer period of time.
Yeah, that's like,
and you're more susceptible to suggestion. So if you spend time around one group of people that are hard into their beliefs, you're going to get sucked into it a lot easier than
when you're feeling that way and you meet a group that gives you some kind of aggressive release,
Yeah.
So, because like it's really funny because those happen to be my libertarian days.
It makes perfect sense.
And I think also it's worth noting, especially for some of the tisms, like the tism people have a tendency to hyperfixate on things. So if the thing you're hyperfixating on is left-wing politics, then you're probably going to go way further down the rabbit hole than most normies will, just because hyperfixation is a tism thing.
That seems to be okay. Hyperfixation seems to be a pattern among all different kinds of mental disorders. Like I know sociopaths, narcissists, your psychopathy, those types of people, and schizoaffective people, schizophrenics. Every one of those seem to have this hyperfixation on things.
It's the way our brains are wired. It literally is. It's something you can track.
It's taking
track. We get really good at something and we really focus on it, and everything else is just left on the wayside.
Shit like this is why I choose to focus on tanks and mechas.
There you go.
I'm sorry, Mike. Did I drag us into the weeds with that question?
No, not really. And honestly speaking, like, I guess the only thing I can really say is that, the more we're able to build out a profile and more we're able to understand how this radicalization process happened, because I think this is the key thing. How do we prevent the recruitment of people into their movement? Because now I'm thinking of it from a strategic point of view. I'm thinking.
Unfortunately, we really have to learn how to get intelligent with proper counter indoctrination measures. the way that they're doing things.
Absolutely. But that's the point, though, is that
Charlie Kirk. That's why.
Yeah,
Precisely.
No, you're absolutely correct.
But from a decentralized viewpoint, the way that they do things, they operate in groups and they travel through forums and they just unload on people, and they're able to change people's minds with the amount of dialogue they're just able to machine gun into a comment section.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that's the whole point.
Yes.
You create the situation where we prevent them from being able to do that, or we, even if we only prevent them from recruiting an extra 10, 15, 20 people a year by being able to identify, like, hey, this person is very fucking susceptible to that shit. Let's make sure we keep them away from those people.
Well, for you guys in the gaming sphere, I told Mike one day that they really reminded me of Goon Swarm.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes. They operate identical to Goon Squad in EVE Online and Face of Mankind and stuff like that. Yep. That's what they reminded me of.
No, you're absolutely correct. Absolutely. Yeah. And mind you, I will point out that Goon Swarm, as an entity, is incredibly on the Groiper side of the spectrum.
I was going to say, they all happen to be very, very leftist.
They are, but they operate as Groipers.
Yes.
Because I did not see nearly the amount of juice burning as I did when I encountered fucking Goon Swarm in EVE.
Yes.
That's why I don't play EVE at all.
Yeah,
I played it for 2 years. It was a great time.
They kind of took over the game, and a lot of people left after Dust got canceled with integrating the game, and they just kind of ruled it from there. But
that's the thing, though, is from a strategic point of view, it is a valuable question.
Sorry, go on.
It was a good question from a strategic point of view, because it's like, yeah, we need to be talking about, hey, you got these considerations to make, you have these ideas to talk about, so on and so forth.
I want to identify these types of people very, very quickly in the wild.
Exactly.
Well, and I can tell you, like, an example, me and my father, I don't know if you guys have them up there, Mike, but we went to a Roosters.
Yeah, I've been to them. They're not up here.
Okay, yeah, we went to a Roosters up in the bar in West Columbus a few years back before it was right before the pandemic. And we sat down, and there was this really, really strange, weird dude sitting at the bar reading a Communist Manifesto. And I think he was looking for a chick or something. And
there's a good way to do it.
He was sitting out there with the manifesto. He's probably waiting for a goth baddie to sit next to him and see the book or some shit. But yeah, he was sitting there reading, and then we all three got into the discussion of workers' rights, which everybody seems to fall in line with if you're in the United States, the abuse of workers. And then he started going into the seizing the means of production shit by means of a authoritative state. And we went, whoa, buddy, hold on a minute. He got pissed and he just left. He didn't even say anything. He just went silent and got up and left.
Yeah, they're never really able to defend themselves or their beliefs.
But you imagine how ferocious he is on online forums.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the keyboard commando.
Yeah. So that kind of person, they're usually, and you see the types of people that would go up to try and argue Kirk are like really, really neurotic, shaky, nervous, picking at their fingers.
Yes, part of that's because they made for the best content. But yes, he definitely went looking for people like that to try and have a good conversation.
Well, and is it that he was looking for those people, or do those people tend to fit the bill for radicals?
Both.
Yeah.
And they came out of the woodwork to try and confront him, to make him look like a fool. Which
they were either really,
one 70-year-old guy that tried to challenge him to a fist fight.
Oh God, I know that was.
Well, that was different. Yeah, those kinds of people are just agitators, and I guess the left tends to fit the bill for being an agitator.
Well, I don't know if you know this or not, and I meant to bring it up a couple days ago when I had the information on hand. But the shooter actually did talk to Charlie like 3 or 4 months earlier.
He did?
Really?
Yeah, you can find his clip relatively easily. He is he's wearing one of those small chest fanny pouch things, and he's got a megaphone. And every time Charlie tried to make a point or steer the conversation back on track, he'd hold the megaphone right up against his chest and talk into it. So it didn't look like he was talking into it, but he was.
Weird.
So he lost an argument and got pissed off. That's part of the issue.
So you think he got humiliated and sat on it for
I am
however
sure
long?
that fed into it. Is that all of it? Hell no. But did it feed into it? I'm sure it did.
Well, that's like, to me, that fits the bill of the popularity of some of them 1960s and 70s murder sprees where the husband gets pissed off enough at the gripey wife that eventually he just, rips her throat out. And yeah, that's the stewing.
That's another part of tism is as we were saying, hyper focusing on something. It's not just an activity; it's also something that might have happened. You can't get it out of your head.
Here's the thing I would like to do is, I think we've gotten into the weeds a little bit too much at this point in time. Gavin, I love you.
Sorry to drop a bomb.
No, you're fine, dude. Honestly speaking, you're absolutely fine. But the thing that I truly think that really needs to happen is people need to fuck off. Stop trying to, spurg out at every fucking turn. Stop trying to fucking rage every time something doesn't go exactly like these idiots on the net right now. It's really funny when I can use the term netizen referring to Americans. That's bad.
Yeah, that's very bad.
Oh, Mike, did you mention to them any of the details about Trump's visit to Windsor today?
We were going to be getting into that.
Okay, well, there you go. There's your segue.
Well, let me finish. The point is with the netizens, they're losing, and we just need to keep the pressure on them. And we let this play out. I am sure at this point in time that there's going to be a huge string of fucking arrests. Again, as pointed out in one of the links that one of you guys dropped, the number of people that were arrested as part of the ICE shooting, the amount of people that are potentially going to get arrested as part of this shooting, the potential for us unearthing a whole fucking network of people that have been pushing this shit and been planning this shit. I wouldn't be surprised to find out that we, say they hit somebody's house and it turns out to be a fucking command and control center for these people.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we got operational planning. And then
it's got to be coming from somewhere.
Well, and that's the point, is at the end of the day, the more we let this play out, the closer we get to being able to declare Antifa a DTO. And that's what matters. The closer we get to being able to declare a DTO, the faster we can handle these people. So again, let it fucking play out. Stop being a spurt. Now, I guess, fuck it, we'll jump over to Windsor first. So, Donald Trump is in the UK right now, and he was received very, very well, in a way that if he was being received by, say, Keir Starmer, he would not have been received, but instead he's received by the king himself. Given the situation that we currently have play here in the United States, and given the geopolitics of the current climate of things, I'm optimistic. Now, we all know that I don't like the fucking Brits at all. You know for sure I don't like House Windsor. Oh, God. You guys, I am a Jacobite after all. I definitely inherited my genetic lineage very well, to say the least.
You think Charles shares a very similar sentiment to his late wife? Or mother, sorry?
No.
So
my thinking might be Charles is seeing which way things are going with Keir Starmer and his bunch, as in they're trying to head full communist, and he's got the idea, if I can see how this could play out, where if Starmer goes full communist, they could be getting rid of my ass as well, getting rid of the monarchy and just making full commie regime here.
Well,
that
that's
might
the
be
cool
on
thing.
Charles's mind.
That's the cool thing about some of these dormant monarchies is that they're doing all of this, but they're still in the doghouse.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. And several people have talked about this because it is important to talk about. Is that Charles has one out of his current situation, and he knows it. And he knows damn well he's not going to survive if he doesn't take this out. He must disband Parliament. But the problem is he is not going to survive politically disbanding Parliament. So what does he do? He disbands Parliament and he abdicates to William. And I think that's exactly what they're discussing at Windsor right now. Because, mind you, none, at least for what I've seen so far, none, not even Reform, was invited to attend the banquet. No bureaucrats at all.
Oh. So, is there any written information regarding this potential discussion, or is it stayed hush-hush on purpose?
Oh, this is going to be as hush-hush as it can be, good sir.
Are there any other circles discussing this?
Charles and Trump, Melania and Carmilla, or Carmel. Carmel? Fuck, I forget.
Camilla.
Camilla? Okay.
Otherwise known as the whore.
Now, yeah, the whore.
What was the prime?
They're going to the grave with what is said at this meeting.
What was the indicator that you had your suspicion?
Huh?
What was the indicator that could be the conversation that they're having? The secrecy itself?
Because, again, no bureaucrats were involved at all. He was received by the Royal Guard. He inspected the Royal Guard. And they had a banquet. Not a single bureaucrat was involved.
This was a business dinner.
Among the CEOs, no less. Yeah.
The monarch leaving everybody else out is pretty damn significant.
Well, here's the thing. The bureaucrats, for lack of better words, surely they know something's amiss.
Oh, they do. They absolutely do. Do you know how they know?
How?
It was held at Windsor Castle, not Buckingham.
No.
Oh, it's so funny, dude. All he's got to do is flush the toilet.
That's the other. Listen, that's the other indicator. Is by holding the meeting at Windsor Castle, it allows the Windsors to make sure that they're not being spied on.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas Buckingham, that bitch is as fucking wired up as the old FBI building.
I wouldn't doubt it.
That's Watergate. That's a Watergate waiting to happen.
Well, also, just out of curiosity, that video clip that I sent earlier, what's the deal with all that in there? What's the deal with that?
What you? Okay, hold on. Let me. Okay. First and foremost, so that's the captain of the guard receiving Trump, and the captain of the guard moves with the king and his guests as part of the inspection. First and foremost, there is this whole idea that, okay, he's ignoring protocol by walking ahead of the king. While there might be something to that, there's also the fact that you notice how the king is so much shorter than Trump and the officer. The officer per protocol, the officer has to keep pace with whoever is in front of the procession. And then Trump is just so much taller than the fucking king. Frankly speaking, I think he was just outrunning the king. To be frank.
Yeah, and it's also just a Trump thing to do, to be moving fast and authoritatively.
Yes, absolutely.
He does just walk fast.
But there is also the possibility that this was meant to be a show. But that's also a good thing, because this isn't just a show of force. This is a show of, I'm with them, not you. And again, we go back to Nepal. Who was on the ground talking to the organizers of the protests in Nepal?
Victoria Nuland.
Victoria fucking Nuland. And
the Queen of Death herself. Yeah.
Wait, what is one of the most important military fucking formations from Nepal loyal to?
That would be the Gurkhas, and they are loyal to the throne of England.
Ding, 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 ding. The point is that if you have a combination of the King's Guard, you have the Gurkhas.
I think of it as the Queen's Guard as well.
Huh?
I still think of it as the Queen's Guard as well.
Well, yes, but I will give Charles some benefit, because I don't think Charles is retarded. I just think he's a bit of a doofus.
As old as he came into the crown, you think he'd have more experience, but he just doesn't.
And then on top of that, you have the situation with I believe they're referred to as, the regiment that that Princess Diana was the head of.
Wasn't Blackguard? Wasn't Scottish Watch?
No,
Those
it wasn't Black Watch. No, that is, okay. You do have Black Watch, which Black Watch is completely was utterly and completely loyal to Elizabeth, like through and through. Then you've got hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
I can't think of it either.
Wasn't it the Princess of Wales Royal Regiment?
Oh, something like that. But who was the regiment? What was it actually called? Which I don't remember.
Oh yeah, the 13th and 18th Royal Hussars.
There you go.
Yep.
So you have multiple key regiments, and we're talking key fucking regiments. Again, the fucking Black Watch, the Royal Guard itself, the fucking Gurkhas, the fucking Royal Hussars. You have all these key regiments that, in the event that Charles says fuck the Parliament, all of those regiments are coming into London. Every single one of them.
Are they going to? Okay, so those regiments answering to the monarch. What about the military?
That basically is the military right now over there.
Well, no, are they going to coup and operate autonomously, or are they going to fall directly under the king? or do they answer Parliament?
And they
answer the king. Yeah, they fall directly under the king. The Gurkhas will not serve the Parliament. The Parliament had to give the Gurkhas such autonomy back in the day, it was unfucking real. Because originally the Gurkhas were just a territorial unit. But then the king, having recognized the Gurkhas, they had to basically sign the Gurkhas off as a royal unit, because now the Gurkhas they fight for two things: the royal family and the fucking Victoria Crosses. They want VCs and the royal family. That's it. It's all those motherfuckers care about.
The unit that we was talking about that Lady Diana was head of, nowadays they're called the Light Dragoons.
Okay.
Interesting.
What would be interesting?
Regiment. Yep, they are a regiment of 403 people.
But the point is that these are all the key units that are going to be involved, and I bet you, if I look it up, I could figure out that all those units are at home right now.
Yeah. What'll be interesting too, if it goes that way, Charles disbands Parliament.
Do you think Charles
William comes in, and then basically you've got those head regiments there. Wonder how Sadiq Khan and the Muslim population they got over there now are going to react.
So do you
well,
think?
Here's the key thing. Hold on, Gavin. Here's the key thing about that. Charles does not have the loyalty of the military. William does.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So do you think Charles, William, heads of the military, special forces, etc., have already had discussions separately about this stuff before inviting Trump?
Honestly speaking, William has probably had the discussion.
Yep.
Oh, excuse me, sorry. Probably already had the discussion with Trump beforehand, and Charles had to be keyed in later. Because Duchess Kate has been rallying businessmen behind William.
Oh, so she's pulling the bourgeoisie behind William.
Yes.
Yep. And that'll be, I could see there, if William becomes king and he's got the loyalty of the military, and the Muslim population over there in the United Kingdom starts to riot or tries to do a counter coup, William's going to send the military out. The military is going to be going, hot damn, it's 1850 in India again.
I was going to say that's cause for a massive domestic.
Remember Rourke's Drift.
Yes.
Well,
no,
and that's
the implications of that, however you see that from any angle, are going to be catastrophe.
Well, no, that's the thing, is that at this point in time, that's probably where it's going to have to go, because that's the only option they have left.
The nuclear one, yeah.
Because at this juncture, the French influence in the UK is too fucking strong within the bureaucrats.
Damn Norman.
No, not even Norman. Remember, the Normans weren't French. There's a reason why they went across the aisle or across the channel to Britain to England to take it over, was because they weren't French.
Yeah, they're Germanic.
French. They were Scandinavian.
Yes.
Yep.
Normans were Vikings that conquered France.
And settled down and said, okay, this is our land now.
Yes.
Actually, it's better than that. The French gave them the land in order to get them to stop attacking them.
Yeah.
That's why England is fairly Germanic.
Well, no, they're Germanic because of the Saxons.
Well, yeah, that too.
No, that's literally where all their Germanic comes from. Remember, the Normans are Scandinavian through and through.
Yep.
Like,
I think that's
Ragnar Lothbrok.
I think that's where
remember,
the 0.6, it's like 0.6 to 6% Scandinavian in my blood. around the time period of the Norse invasions. Enough said.
Anyways, the point is what you end up having is they're going to try desperately to stop it from happening. If Charles does agree to take the leap, because it's like, listen, Charles, buddy, you're not going to survive if you don't take this offering. Like, you have one opportunity to fucking save your family. You either take this or you're all dead. Like, William and Kate are rallying their own personal fucking thing here. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that William has been in contact with Blackwatch and with the Light Dragoons and with the fucking Royal Guard and the Gurkhas and so on and so forth. Wouldn't be surprised to find out that he's been in full fucking contact with those motherfuckers for a while, and they're just like, yeah, we're with you, boss. Like, if your daddy can't fucking get off his fat fucking ass and fucking do it, then we'll help you do it.
Yeah. So they basically improvised the John F. Kennedy Special Forces protocols, like, over the course of a few months.
And that's the thing is SAS. Like, that's the thing is the SAS. They'll take out fucking 10 Downing without even fucking being asked. If all of a sudden William puts it out that, hey, fuck the Parliament, I'm reinstating the monarchy, SAS will just roll 10 Downing that night. Like, they're gonna be sitting there like, why did half of the security just die?
Hey, Warhead, I got a question for you. Piers Morgan, isn't he a monarchist?
Yes, actually. Funny enough, he is.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
He'd probably be pretty damn thrilled with that happening.
They've been crying Nazi this whole time. What are they going to do when it's like the farthest right a government can be, the literal monarch? They're not going to be able to process that.
Oh, the knee-jerk reaction is the same.
Hey, as I said, if House Windsor manages to get off their ass and actually do something useful for once, shit, I'll give them 5% support. That's the most they're getting from me. Like, I'm sorry, I'm a Jacobite, blood by blood, period in a story. House Stewart or nothing.
Now you got the other question. So we talked about who's been involved with mainly involved in stirring up shit like in Ukraine and other places. What's the British parts of the Five Eye, like MI6 and such, going to do in such an event?
Well, frankly speaking, Five Eyes is going to fucking lose their shit. Okay, so in the event of a coup and in the event of the dissolution of Parliament, the French are going to immediately retaliate. They are going to fucking feed as much shit into that country as possible. And if I were the Brits, I would be shutting down the Channel Tunnel as fast as fucking possible as part of this. Because it's like, nope, you are not smuggling any more fucking weapons into this country. Because we know that's what the French have been up to. Dollars for fucking donuts. Those motherfuckers have been funneling so much fucking weaponry into the country in order to prep it for the eventuality.
French are smuggling weapons in there?
RPGs you can fit in a shipping container.
Oh, no. They're not sending them. They're not sending them by a fucking ship. They're sending them by a car or truck, and they're smuggling them in and then getting them in that way. Because you're not going to be I don't care what you say or what you do. You ain't getting shit through the ports unless you use Ireland to then smuggle shit across the Irish Sea.
Shipping containers can be loaded on transfer trucks.
True.
Yes, but those are gonna be subject to inspection.
Yeah. So who are they shipping them to exactly? Like, who?
Oh, dude, at this point in time, the French love using the Islamic population against others. They love it. They've been using the Islamic population to stir up problems in Spain. They've been using them to stir up problems in Germany, in the UK, in their own country, to keep everybody repressed. Don't you think it's a little suspicious that the only military in Northern Europe worth its fucking salt is the French military?
I would say that is suspicious.
No, I always
I'm
think
sorry.
now the new military I always think of is Poland.
Yeah, well, that's Eastern Europe.
I would put the Poles up against the fucking Italians, and the Italians are going to beat their asses completely. You have to understand. You have to understand that the French have the most powerful military in the fucking in Europe. Period in a story. Because remember, their police. What are their police called?
Oh, the Grand Marais. I'm mispronouncing it, but the Grand Marais.
Gendarmerie.
That's right.
Yeah,
they are the Gendarmerie. They're military police. They're authorized and equipped to properly handle this shit. There's a reason why whenever these fucking riots and shit happen, the French government doesn't give a fuck. Because if it gets out of hand, they can put it down. Every time. They're equipped to do it. They're trained to do it. They're very good at doing it.
That is true. If the order comes down that they can literally roll in the military because the military is already there.
Yeah. No, their regular police are part of the gendarme. They're regular officers. Like, they're all military police. They have a centralized police force.
Oh, interesting little tidbit here. I'm just going to start checking through YouTube's news, see if anything comes up. Jimmy Kimmel's late night show pulled off air indefinitely after Charlie Kirk comment.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, I saw it pop across, but I didn't open it up because we were talking. I just saw that it did get canceled, not why.
First we got Colbert, now Kimmel. Only a couple more of these shitheads left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this when we were talking about the French. Yeah, be the French military. Design a new rifle with a 3-round burst, but the magazine is not divisible by 3.
Oh, and by the way, the burst mechanism requires all 3 rounds to be fired in order to cycle back to the first round in the burst.
What?
Oh, I just did a quick Google search. The French military is very, very upset with the current occupying government.
Makes sense.
Oh no, no, trust me. There's problems, but the French government is willing to eat those problems in order to be able to keep everybody else in conflict.
Like based on their voting patterns, I wouldn't be surprised to see another Napoleon-style coup. You don't think so?
Maybe.
No, they're calling them like radically anti-government right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which, honestly, for the French people, that would be preferable.
I understand what you're saying, dude. The point is that you're thinking from a logical standpoint. You have to think from an illogical standpoint.
I hate illogical. We're trying to fight that shit, Mike.
These people do not make sense if you try to think of it from a logical standpoint.
Yeah, Vive la France is, we don't use the right side of our brains.
But no, that's the whole thing, though, is that at the end of the fucking day, they don't give a shit what the military has to say. They just have the expectation the military does what they're told. That's it.
They're taking advantage of their loyalty. Yeah.
Now, again, mind you, I inferred it earlier, but City of London, the bureaucrats, do not align with the monarchy in England. It is a case of that City of London aligns with the French on this, just like how Berlin aligns with the French and how Madrid aligns with the French and a few other things.
You know what you're describing? Go ahead.
The bureaucracies all align with one another and by default, Brussels.
You know what you're describing is you're describing the makings of a soft despotism that's showing its head.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
A new era of earls and barons.
But the point is that, if we can get the English out from under the boot of the EU and the French, and we pull the Italians, and we pull the Greeks, and we pull a bunch of the Balkans, and then we pull if we get lucky and manage to pull the fucking Spanish out from under them, oh shit, France is looking real fucking problematic at that point in time.
Isn't France leading the charge to federalize the EU?
Yep.
Okay.
France, Belgium, and the Netherlands.
Yuck.
Germany is a 50-50.
Germany's a fucking shit show right now.
Germany now is basically a failed state. That's being propped up by the EU.
Yep.
You think Germany will get broken up into pieces, kind of like post-Soviet Germany?
No. Germany is going to go through exactly what I think that the Canadians are going to go through. You're going to have the East-West split once again, but then the East split is going to occur, and they're going to mob Berlin, because remember, Berlin is firmly in Eastern Germany. They're going to mob Berlin hardcore, and the French are going to try to do an intervention.
Don't you just love how the voting lines of modern-day Germany line up with the old Cold War East-West divide?
You mean perfectly aligned?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was perfectly aligned.
Oh, no, it is. Now AFD is moving further west, but yeah, back, you go back fucking 5 years, and it was almost it was a perfect division along the border.
3046620.
Oh, when you have communist tyranny that's still in living memory, I can see why.
Yeah, sure. True.
Yep.
I had to mute because my social security number was about to go on there.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah. But yeah, so Trump in the UK right now talking to Charles again. Hopefully that will end the way we want it to end, and again, as Gavin pointed out, he's like, when the guy who abjectly fucking hates these people is willing to give them the benefit and give them some fucking praise and give them some fucking kudos, that shows just how fucked up this whole situation is.
Well, when you get past this freaking cloud of propaganda that all of these countries are throwing everywhere, from the central to the decentralized individual level, because it's just a haze right now. It's really, really hard to get any intel on where the damn battle lines are. It's like the media is the new fog of war.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. England is kind of interesting because they just had that March of Parliament on the 13th, and the estimates on the numbers are really varied. But they just saw how few people it actually takes to shut down most of London.
Yep. Now, speaking of fog of war, holy shit, guys! Can we Can we just have a short conversation on how many wars are going on in the world right now?
No, it can't be a short conversation because it's not a short list.
Oh, Lord.
True.
No, they're only calling it World War
There will be
when
wars
the giant
and
powers that have been trying to avoid going to war go to war.
Well, so here's the thing that is now presenting itself. So we've got the situation in Ukraine, which the Ukrainians are now spinning up. Oh, we managed to encircle a bunch of Russian troops. You know, we're going to destroy them, yada, 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 so on and so forth. I'm like, okay, cute. Prove it. You know, actually give me like concise, you know, geolocations in order to confirm that you actually did what you claim to do. Oh, wait, you can't because you didn't do it. The whole situation in Ukraine, it's going, again, we're looking at this point in time, by the time we get to the end of the year, the Ukrainian, like, you know, that next line of defenses that the Ukrainians put together at this point in time, it's going to be a non-issue for the Russians.
Would that be the 5th or the 6th line?
I think it's the 7th. But anyway, the point is that at this juncture, Ukraine's done. They're supposedly there was this new tranche of things signed off by, quote unquote, by Washington. In reality, what it was is that Washington agreed to sell NATO a bunch of shit, and now NATO is giving a bunch of shit to Ukraine. Okay, cool, whatever. We're making money off of NATO because fuck NATO. I don't give a shit. And the Russians are just going to bomb the shit into oblivion anyways. I don't give a fuck if they, at this point in time, we're still making money off of it.
I didn't realize that we were giving them our mothball shit. They're giving them old 90s era Abrams.
Yeah.
It ain't just 90s era, like Hawk surface-to-air missiles. Those things were initially developed in the fucking 50s. Granted, it's the upgraded version, but those damn things are older than I am.
Well, yeah, the Phase 8, the Phase 8 Hawks, which are the newest. Well, actually, no, the Phase 9s are supposedly supposed to make an appearance here in the next year. They kept upgrading them because a bunch of nations still use them. But yeah, basically, it's like, oh, what are the Hawks good for? Well, they're good for saturation effect. Like, if anything, like you launch, 5 or 6 of them at a target, there's a decent chance that one's going to hit. But, at the end of the fucking day, it's like, okay, whatever. The thing is at this point in time, Ukraine's done. That conflict will be resolved probably by, I would say, March or April, honestly speaking. Like, it's looking terrible for them. So then moving over to Asia, because let's talk about some of the lesser known conflicts ongoing as well. Myanmar. So right now, European commentators, anonymous, I'm looking at you, are now calling for strikes against the Chinese pipeline in Myanmar in order to stifle the Chinese. And And I laughed when I saw that because I'm like, oh, do you want a Chinese intervention? Because you'll get a Chinese intervention if you strike that. And
just look at what happened in Korea.
And I don't think the Europeans want to hand the Chinese a reason to go into Myanmar because they don't have one right now. If you want to give them a reason, then by all fucking means, go ahead. Go ahead, hand the Chinese a secured protectorate on their southwestern flank. Go the fuck ahead. Hand them. It would be absolutely hilarious to see.
One thing you gotta love about the Myanmar conflict is how it gave the FGC 9 worldwide recognition.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but here's the thing about the Myanmar conflict as a whole. That entire thing could have been simply avoided by one particular metric. Understanding that the idea of democracy might be cool, but it don't work everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not even close. And Myanmar...
Oh, yeah, we found that out after 20 years in the sandbox.
Well, and that's the point, is that at the end of the fucking day, it's like, Burma was a kingdom back when it was, its own thing. So, trying to be like, oh, we need to bring democracy to Myanmar. No, you don't. But whatever, I digress. So moving on to, I guess we'll handle another major one before we move on to Africa. Israel. So right now, Israel, they are continuing and ramping up their cleanup operation in Gaza. So if you guys aren't aware, and this was basically confirmed yesterday, because apparently the Israelis are finally taking the hint that, hey, maybe we should actually communicate what the fuck we're doing rather than just doing shit and not talking about it, and thus everybody fucking hates us. The Israelis just moved 100,000 people to the Egyptian border. And
they just moved 100,000 troops to the Egyptian border?
No, 100,000 people.
Oh, people. I thought you said troops. I'm like, what? That ain't possible.
They just moved 100,000 people to the Egyptian border because what the Israelis are doing, and I pointed this out in a space that I was in with Halsey, and I was, because people were like, what is the IDF actually fucking doing? And even the Israelis don't fucking know what the IDF is doing. And I pointed out, it seemed like they were doing a contain and sort operation, where they were containing the Gazans into a smaller and smaller area. They were sorting through people, moving the people that needed to be moved out of the area, and then, arresting or shooting the insurgents. And that's exactly what they're doing at this point in time. It's actually what they've been doing, over the course of the entire operation. It's just they were refusing to talk about what they were doing. And so people were like, oh my God, they're genociding people. And no, they're not. They're just forcing people.
You can't blame them for not saying what they were doing, because every time they said what they were doing, they got shot. Both literally and figuratively.
True.
Check the side chat when you're ready.
So...
Oh, we already brought that up. But
yeah, we already
Okay, well, fuck you too.
It's not just Kimmel got fired. What it's saying there, it's saying FCC Chairman Brendan Carr insinuated to Benny Johnson they were looking at taking action against Disney, ABC, and Jimmy Kimmel after what he said the other night.
They still should, especially against Disney. Because fuck Disney.
So with their current operations, they're working towards getting things sorted so that they can finish up. Now, is it still going to take a while? Absolutely. We're looking at probably at this pace, we're looking at about another year of operations. But if they can fucking get it done and get it over with and get the majority of the people moved, they want to get moved, they can then shift focus and pivot, and it would appear that they plan to do the same thing to the West.
Yeah. So,
it's
question.
Basically the. Go ahead. Sorry.
What is so hard about killing these people in these tunnels? Can't you just flood the tunnels and kill them that way?
No, they can't.
I mean, you have an ocean. You can just pump water into the tunnels.
Can't do it.
No?
Can't do it.
That's a great idea.
You can't do it. So, have you ever heard of a sump?
Yes.
Okay, so a sump, for those who don't know, is a point in a tunnel where it's lower than the rest of the tunnel, so it allows water to collect in that specific spot, and it prevents you from flooding the rest of the tunnel.
I work on sump pumps. So
if you pump enough water in, eventually that lower area is going to, if you just keep pumping, won't you eventually...
Remember, this is terrain that once you saturate it and it starts absorbs water very quickly. So you would literally have to have a pumping system that could literally put 1 million gallons of water an hour into the tunnel system in order to do it.
You're literally talking miles and miles and miles of tunnels at varying different levels down through there. Yeah, you would have to have pumping system about equivalent to what you could outflow out of freaking Hoover Dam to flood that thing fast enough to have an effect.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
And they also proved that gassing the tunnels was also not going to work because they attempted to tear gas the tunnels. It didn't work. It's just a simple fact that you have to fight. You have to either seal the tunnels up or fight your way through them. That is the only two options you got. Period. End of story. Again, the insurgents learned a thing or two from Vietnam.
Yeah. And they've been building those tunnels for 30 years.
Yeah. So at this juncture, what it's going to come down to is that they're going to clear out the Gazans, and then that's going to become a DMZ, basically, where they just monitor effectively for a few years at least, and then they just whack-a-mole whatever decides to come up, to pop its head up. That's just what it's going to come down to. Now, the situation with the Israelis and Netanyahu specifically, will Netanyahu survive this? Will he survive through the rest of this operation? Probably not. Honestly speaking, I think Netanyahu is fucking done anyways. It seems to be indicated, given some statements by some notable people within Trump's circle, that Netanyahu might be on the outs. I'm not sure what's going on. I have not been able to put any, I haven't been able to get a finger on the pulse of it yet.
Netanyahu being on the outs here or there? Because those are two different things.
There.
Okay.
So, again, I have not been able to figure out anything in particular yet. I actually plan on getting in touch with Halsey. I'll probably do that this Saturday. Yeah, I'll probably do that this Saturday.
The reason I asked
wait, not Saturday.
It is
Sunday.
An absolute shit show at the best of times.
True.
Well, yeah, basically at this point in time. So, hey, give me just one moment, and I'll continue here in a second. All right.
No worries.
Mm-hmm.
The implications of France and England going through what they're going through is global. That's huge, if that's true.
Oh, yeah. If you have a major European country fall apart or get taken over from the inside openly, oh, yeah.
Well, and my whole speculation I was trying to explain to Mike was, I just did 2 minutes of research while we were sitting in here talking. The military is sick and fucking tired of the French Parliament.
I wouldn't go quite so far as to say that everybody is sick and tired of the French Parliament except for the French Parliament, but it's pretty close.
Okay, let me
because of how they've been playing games.
Didn't the government basically collapse last week?
Yes. It was over Prime Minister.
Yeah, they had to fire or people. Like a dozen people either got fired or resigned. Major heads in the government.
So is there going to be a new French election soon?
Or I think they were talking about having one next year.
It takes that long.
Yeah, which is a couple years early.
Yeah, it would be next year. May of next year. All right, so getting on from Israel, again, shit show that it is. Let's talk about Africa a little bit, and let's talk about Sudan.
God.
Because, wow. So Darfur being Darfur, typical.
Just build a wall. Be done with it.
Well, here's the thing, is we have the interplay between the United Arab Emirates and Turkey in Sudan.
Oh, really?
The UAE the UAE is supporting the forces in Darfur, which if I remember correctly, they are the Rapid Support Forces, the RSF, and then you have the Sudanese government being supported by the Turks. But it would appear that this is now spilling over into the youngest nation in the world, South Sudan. Because now it looks like that there might be a pop-off because of of all the shit going on to the north of South Sudan. South Sudan might end up falling into conflict as well, as basically shit's just gone haywire, and corruption and all that bullshit, and ethnic ties and ethnic conflict and so on and so forth. So, looking like a spicy meatball, to say the least.
Yeah, that sounds like an MAD about to go off.
Question: yeah. What the hell happened with was it Thailand launching missiles across the border to somebody?
Oh, Thailand to no, so it was Cambodia launching missiles at Thailand.
Okay, what came of that?
Thailand fought for I believe it was about 6-7 days, and initially everybody was basically like, "Oh, the Cambodians are beating the shit out of the Thais. Like, what's going on? The Thais are so much better." And then the actual numbers started coming back, and it was like, "Oh, the Thailand baited them into an attack and then slaughtered them because the casualties were definitely in the Thais' favor."
Yeah, they were probably stacking bodies like cordwood over there.
There was only a couple hundred casualties per my understanding, but yeah, it was like a 3-to-1 ratio.
Wow.
So, and I wouldn't call
sloppy.
Huh?
If it was only 3-to-1, the Thais are getting sloppy.
Well, no, that's the Cambodians didn't dedicate enough. They didn't dedicate a lot of forces to it. Like, honestly speaking, per my understanding, like the initial attack in the area where the majority of the fighting took place, the Cambodians only sent a single platoon in at first, and that platoon,
that's stupid.
It was a recon platoon, and then that recon platoon got hit like a goddamn, got hit by a truck. So,
for Cambodia to do that to Thailand, that's kind of like Mexico doing it to us. Just isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
No, it's seriously.
Yeah, that's a pretty good comparison.
So honestly speaking, I wouldn't call it a true conflict. It was more of just a high-level skirmish, if anything. But the Thais did not get what they wanted out of it, honestly speaking, because they were hoping to be able to manage something along the lines of securing the temple that they were specifically, that the conflict was specifically over. But to be completely frank, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that temple changes hands or gets declared a monument site where it's considered no man's land. So we'll see what happens with that. It'll just take time.
Did you see the credentials and ideologies of the up and coming new potential Japanese prime minister?
I have no idea, and I really do not care until we actually have somebody with ass in seat.
Fair enough.
Well, I don't know a whole lot on who the new Japanese prime minister is going to be, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Japanese people have had enough of their cultural enrichment.
No, their majority voting is going very, very far to the traditional side of things, and that's why this guy's probably going to win.
Yeah, they shut that down hard over there.
And they're halting immigration to almost everybody as of now.
Good.
And I swear to God, if I hear someone else Bring on Japanese war crimes on account of this. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
Japanese war crimes.
I think most of Japanese history is just, what's his name? Get the hell out of my yard, Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, that's a decent way of saying that.
Yep.
Now let's skip on over to our hemisphere real quick, and let's talk about Venezuela.
You mean the country that's fucked?
We sank another boat. We sank another one.
Oh,
You did
really?
another one? Nice.
Yeah, we hit another one.
Is that
What do our people on the ground think of drone striking narco boats? I bet that shit's so funny.
No, they're actually using fucking Hellfires.
Brutal.
They're just straight up murking the shit. Like, the overmatch on the firepower is fucking insane, and I live for it. I don't care.
You know, you'd think they'd have gotten the memo when we sunk the first boat.
So in the 90s, Mom was telling me when she was watching Intel in the Navy that she'd watch scuffles between North and South Korean navies, and the North Korean patrol boats would try to ride up and harass destroyers, and said the destroyers wouldn't waste the deck gun ammo on them, and they would just she'd see on the radar that their little blips would collide, and then the patrol boat blip would disappear. So the boats they were just ramming them because the destroyers were faster. The destroyers. I think of that whenever you describe altercations like that.
They're still doing that in Korea.
They've toned it down a bit. They've definitely toned it down a little bit.
Well, when you mentioned the narco boats, it's like Somalian pirates getting smoked with a deck gun, or South Korean boats getting rammed by a destroyer. Roman, quit yelling.
So what we end up having is the situation with Venezuela. I think I know where this is going to lead to. So I think what the attempt is being made to do is cause enough chaos with the cartels in Venezuela to get the Venezuelans to basically get them start to argue with one another. Because Maduro, of course, he directly supports this shit, and basically create the conditions where Maduro either, has to finally come to the table and start talking to us, or the cartels decide to fucking replace his ass. And then we, go in and handle business.
Well, with the cartels, all over Latin America. So I heard that they were getting so desperate that they actually tried to Hail Mary cross the border with another mob, and they all got apprehended. So allegedly.
Yep.
Oh, I did not hear about that.
Yeah, I've been seeing different pieces of that for, it's just been.
Yeah, but this time they stick the actual military on them, and it ended pretty quickly.
Well, and that's how it goes almost all the time, is that they're so desperate they're so desperate to make it work it's unfucking real at this point in time. Again, the northern border is their only good access that they have, but they can't bring a lot over the northern border because the roads that lead over the northern border, they have a shit ton of fucking checkpoints. You have to go through the woods.
I've been seeing more videos from the northern border of Jeets and Muslims crossing over into Vermont and stuff like that than
Well, you got to understand that they're using those guys as the mules. So the mules meet up with the guys on our side of the border. They get the product off of them, and then they haul ass. Peter Santinello did a great video on this, actually. I believe it was either earlier this year or last year. where he did a ride along with some cops in New York, and like they showed up to an old abandoned shopping plaza, and there's just like clothing strewn all over the place around the plaza where people are changing clothes to then go into town and whatnot and so on and so forth.
Well, all of that we're describing sounds like the northern border as a place to just go tromp around or hunt is incredibly dangerous.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Roman!
No, well, the cartels have got a serious problem. They've got to figure something out because, over the last, 6, 8 years. Yes, the last 6 years, they changed their entire financial system to people instead of drugs. So they're bleeding money.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, they've got to figure something out.
What's funny is the first people to rear their heads and posture when Venezuela was getting sieged was China.
Interesting.
Well, they apprehended a boat from China, according to Judge Jinian or whatever. It was a boat full of... hold on, let me mute this. It was a boat full of chemicals for meth.
Of course.
Oh, yeah, the supply boats for fentanyl and meth, yeah.
Leaving China and entering Latin America.
Huh. Speaking of Chinese ships, what's the latest we've heard from when that Chinese Navy ship, a Chinese Coast Guard ship, rammed into each other when they were trying to harass a Filipino ship in international waters?
So the Coast Guard vessel has a really, or let me rephrase. So the Corvette, it wasn't a destroyer, it was a Corvette. The Corvette has a really nice hole in the side of it. And the Coast Guard ship has a really, really nice size fucking dent in the front. Basically, the entire nose section of the Coast Guard ship was just fucking crumpled. The after pictures were pretty funny.
And remind me, why are we supposed to be afraid of the Chinese military when their own fucking Navy can't navigate worth a shit?
Well, I'm not as afraid of the Navy as I am their expeditionary force.
Okay, so to be frank about the Chinese, the reason why this kind of shit happens is because they do this ultra aggressive style of shit. This isn't unique to the Chinese. Other nations do this shit all the fucking time. It's funny because it's the Chinese.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like that's the thing. It's like the Mexicans have done this to the Guatemalans, the Venezuelans and the Colombians have done this to each other. The fucking the Thais and Cambodians have done it to each other. There's a couple. This kind of shit happens all over the place, but it was just fucking hilarious because it was the Chinese,
and it was so public.
Yeah. Yes. When some dude is live streaming on fucking TikTok or whatever the fuck he was streaming on, and he catches this shit live on video, that's pretty damn funny.
Yep.
Ugh.
Also, speaking of the Chinese military, do any of you remember that last conflict the Chinese were having with the Indians? And, like, the militaries of both countries were resorting to hitting each other with, like, clubs. They weren't even using, like...
Oh, yeah.
They weren't using steel weapons. They were using clubs.
The most
Okay. Stop. Okay, so that was actually a deal that both sides made. They weren't allowed to shoot each other, but they could beat the shit out of each other.
There's so much crap aimed in that one really small spot where if anything gets really hot there, that spot will be gone. and everything around it will be gone.
Is it that little spot in Tibet that you guys are talking about?
No, it's on the border between
no, it's
China
Kashmir.
and India.
Kashmir.
Kashmir. That's right.
No, the most
And
interesting.
you have to understand this one thing about the conflicts between China and India is they have gone hot before, and neither side has come out bloodless. Like their last big conflict, you had nearly 2 entire regiments from both sides wipe each other out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like it was bad.
I think the most interesting thing I've seen come out of China here lately was that little light tank that they just put out. I don't know if it's a paper tiger or not, but it is a really pretty looking tank.
Well, I will say this about China and India. It should be noted that those 2 countries are nuclear powers.
That's part of why that deal was struck.
Yeah, you have to understand that they are trying to prevent from just murdering each other, and that's why they're so desperate to keep things as minimalistic as possible. And across the board, you have to understand that. Yeah, it's funny, but would you rather have a situation where you're getting to laugh about them beating the shit out of each other with clubs, or imagine all of a sudden there's 152s flying both ways and they're just fucking obliterating each other. Like I'll take the funny videos of them beating each other with sticks.
Yeah, that's actually a lot more preferable to us having a severe shortage of Indians and Chinese via a nuclear strike.
Yeah, it's their own version of mad.
Well, that's the thing is that like at the end of the day, you have to understand. Like you look at the situation with the U.S. Like we're getting pretty overt with our operations against the cartels, and the Mexicans are sitting there like, what do we fucking do? Well, there's nothing they can do.
I just saw an interview. It's funny you say that with the Mexican congresswoman of theirs, or whatever you want to call them, that basically whistle blew to Trump to like begging them to come to their side of the border.
Well, and that's the thing is that they're like they can't do anything, whereas the Chinese and the Indians, yeah, they can do things to each other, and that's where the difference is that the Mexicans can't do anything to us, so it's a unilateral situation where okay, the Mexicans just kind of have to accept the situation, whereas the Chinese and the Indians, they can nuke each other.
Well, the Mexicans, like, I don't understand at the people level why they're so entitled, because their government is oriented in such a way as to very, very closely depend on our defense apparatus.
Well, okay, so let me explain. You have to understand that Mexico has been a haven for communism for years. Look at where did Trotsky flee?
To Mexico.
Where did all the communists from across many areas flee to after their revolutions were defeated? They all fled to Mexico, the vast majority of them.
They either fled to Mexico or somewhere in Central and South America. I forgot what country it was that Che Guevara was called in, but it was somewhere in Central America.
Wouldn't surprise me if it was Argentina.
Yeah. Well, also, if you look at like the history of Mexico, especially in like the 19th century, it was and early 20th century, it was just full of like left-wing revolutions one after another.
Absolutely. So at the end of the day, like you have to understand, like the reason why they have this entitlement is because, like, this has been their default for so many years that it's going to take ages to deprogram the people from thinking that this is a good idea. Like again, they elected Scheinbaum. Like,
yeah.
And then
they elected a literal communist.
And also, from my understanding, one of the reasons why Scheinbaum got elected was because her competition got assassinated.
Well, that's part of it, yes.
Well, that's normal politicking down there.
Yes, absolutely.
What's the Mexican saying down there translated to English? Lead or gold? Or is it lead and silver?
If you ain't going to take the silver, you're going to take the lead.
That's it.
I'm drawing a blank on how it's pronounced now. But yeah, it's letters.
Yeah, the saying is, in English, the saying is, if you're not going to take the silver, you're going to take the lead.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that is the one place where I can honestly say it's the Juden is actually true.
You know what's so funny? You know what's so funny is one of my favorite YouTubers. He doesn't make anything anymore. It was Vagrant Holiday, and he, he literally just like planned these trips where he'd travel with minimal baggage, and he'd train tag. He'd get on cargo trains. He'd fly out to Europe with no booked hotel or anything like that. You just walk around. He went to Japan, a few other countries like that. The only place he was in danger was when he flew into Mexico. And not a night or two after he landed in there, he got threatened with a machete. They took everything from him. And that's where the video ended, was on the note of him having no way to get back home.
Damn. Did he end up getting back home?
Yeah, he made it back. But they took his wallet with his passport. They took his money. They took his food. They took everything. He was walking down the street, and some dude in the bushes with a machete just stepped out. And he also got, threatened to be patted down and stolen from by the sheriff and everything.
Of course.
Mexico is, if you don't know anything about the landscape you're walking through, don't tread ever.
Oh, yeah, just don't go down there. You just don't. People need to find a different place to go on spring break.
Yeah, like everyone,
just don't do it.
Everyone wants to go to Cancun. I'm like, dude, no way. If you step off of that resort, you're dead. They wait for you.
Oh, that reminds me. They just reopened. Oh, what's that naval base in Puerto Rico?
Roosevelt something.
Yes. Yeah, they just reopened that because of the operations down in the Gulf and off of Argentina.
Oh, what's the...
they're putting serious money into that. They're looking long-term.
So in the latest mention of the left and their boogeymen that they take and romanticize, and it's almost like they take these words that Trump throws out, which I think Trump does it on purpose, straight up, because of their reactions. And it's like they're running around with a crayon drawn image of these things that he's doing. Crocodile Alcatraz.
Yeah.
Alligator Alcatraz, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about Florida. What's I missed the what about it.
What is the actual context of that facility?
It's just
a deportation center.
Yeah.
Because they're making it like he's literally feeding them to the alligators.
No, it's a deportation center. They pick up people, they send them there for processing, and then they email them out.
Nothing wrong.
Because they have an airstrip that's large enough to put down a 737. They can just load it up and send it off.
I saw Mitch unmute. What do you got?
Oh no, I just got back from. It was about that time of night. Go in and check on Mom. She's been kind of laid up the last week or so.
Right.
Hey, Mitch, what's the name of that Navy base in Puerto Rico?
Roosevelt Roads.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As far as that, with the that stupid ass sonar chief that came back drunk one night and tried to dived off the sailplanes, he didn't get hurt. He dived off and just dived into the water. Of course, he got restricted to the boat for the rest of our time. Time
Yeah,
there. Captain was a little
funny.
bit pissed at him.
The diving planes on that submarine, those were set up like how they were on the early Los Angeles classes, right?
Yeah, you had the what you call the forward planes mounted up on the sail, and it, instead of on the bow like they had been on the old diesel boats. They started doing that back in the 50s. But start like the late I think it was like Flight 3 Los Angeles class and the Virginias. They went ahead and moved the sailplanes down back to where now they're the bow planes again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. That's one of the ways how you can tell an early Los Angeles class from a later one is where the sailplanes are, or where the diving planes are located.
Yep. I can tell you one other difference that you know about. That's the difference between the Flight 3 Los Angeles class and the earlier ones. They've got more horsepower and bigger steam piping.
And also,
because the reactor plant they put in them, it was actually a cruiser plant for like the Virginia class that they modified and put into a Los Angeles class. If you look at like the side picture of a Los Angeles class, from like where that one hatch is right behind the sail, from there back is nothing but reactor plant and engine room. 2/3 of that thing is just engineering spaces. And
dude, I just pulled up the stats of an LA class. Those torpedoes are humongous.
Yeah, but basically all they had to do for the Flight 3s to cram more horsepower in them and get them to go faster was put in bigger engines and bigger steam piping, because that cruiser plant that they modified and stuck in them had so much excess power. All they had to do was put in bigger steam piping and bigger engines.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Those things were designed to keep up and outperform aircraft carriers.
Yeah, so they
also on Flight 3 Los Angeles class submarines, don't they also have VLS tubes for Tomahawk missiles in the bow?
Yeah, I think they actually might have started putting those in the Flight 2s as well, because, I might be wrong on that, but I remember like late 80s, early 90s. I know like early 90s when I got, like 91, when I got on last boat it was on out in Washington State, they already had vertical launch tubes on LA class. As a matter of fact, they had a couple instances to where they installed those things, but then they never trained the guys on board how to take care of them, and had a couple boats where they went foobar and just basically ruined a bunch of missiles. Because water got into them.
So for fucking up a submarine, you get court-martialed if you survive?
If you're the captain in the XO, probably. Yeah. But, that was where we had some kind of safety stand down over something, and that was one of the incidents they brought up, and they were going over it, and one of the chiefs was there. He knew guys that were on that boat, and he was livid. He said they never fucking trained those guys the maintenance and procedures for monitoring and taking care of those damn tubes and the missiles inside them. Said the Navy itself bears fault for that, for what happened, because they never trained those guys.
Same issue with the Third Reich Navy when they introduced their battleship line.
Yep.
Wait, the Third Reich had battleships? I don't know if I'd go that far.
Yeah, the Third Reich had battleships.
And they had battle cruisers.
Yeah, they were battle cruisers.
Yeah. Scharnhorst and Gneisenau were battle cruisers, but then you look at Bismarck and Tirpitz, those were full-up battleships, 15-inch guns. Yeah.
No. When it comes to their armor profile, they were more akin to battle cruisers.
Were they a fast battleship?
Yes, they were a fast battleship. But
because, the
thing was that turtleback layout gave them so much protection from a side profile that it just worked. But let's face it, they weren't nearly as armored as a traditional battleship at all.
Hot take. I think one of the best. I think one of my absolute personal favorite German battleships of that era was probably their pre-Versailles Treaty ship, the Gaspee.
The Graspe.
I think that's a beautiful ship.
Absolutely beautiful. I wonder what would have happened if the Germans had gotten the Graf Zeppelin commissioned.
It'd probably be in the same place the Bismarck's at right now.
Yeah,
being a real shitty submarine.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Bismarck making as quick a work of the hood as it did.
That was a golden BB shot.
Yeah.
You think so?
That went in underwater, under the torpedo belt, and then went into the ship, into the one of the ammo stores.
Yeah, but wasn't it because of the inferior? Was it a weakness of the hood, or was it luck of the Bismarck?
It was a weakness. It was a weakness of the hood because the same weakness. No, listen. The same weakness was identified in previous battlecruiser designs from the Battle of Jutland because so many battlecruisers had massive detonations because the fact that the stowage layouts were so bad in those ships.
Okay.
The Admiralty class battlecruisers should have gone through a fucking refit phase, but they never did, even though the motherfuckers knew the problem. And that's why fucking 1,200 men died on that ship.
Also, I will give you 3/4 on that. Yes, 3/4. The fourth quarter, the other piece, is that when to try and get around that, because they didn't have the time to do it during the war.
Oh, no!
No, hear me out real quick. I'm talking about during the war, not before.
No, seriously. This wasn't during the war.
Shut up for a minute. You want to get a good analysis on what happened with the hood, look up a YouTube channel, Drakenfeld, Naval Historian.
Yeah, he did a very good job.
45-minute video on that thing and does a damn good analysis of it and goes over it.
Does anyone agree?
Yeah, when basically it was a combination of, yes, they knew there was a problem with that armor, and, yeah, the British fucked up by not putting that thing in for a refit before the war started, because they knew there was one place there along the side that lacked armor protection, and at certain speeds, the hull would be uncovered by the water where a shell could get in. It was a combination of that defect, that gap in the armor profile, and just the sheer luck that shell came in at the right fucking angle to hit that one spot and go travel through the fucking engineering spaces and then right into the 4-inch ammunition magazine.
That's right, it was the 4-inch magazine.
So does anyone here think that if the Yamato wasn't so cheaply taken out by a seaplane, do you think that do you think an Iowa class could have actually stood up against one?
Could have the Yamato and the Iowa class gotten together and slugged it out, and what would have happened? Is that what you're asking?
Precisely.
They would have sank each other.
I disagree. The Iowa would have won due to the efficiency of the guns. So the problem the Yamato had was it had too big of guns on it. If it had 16-inch guns, 16.1-inch guns, and had been set up to fire heavier shells like the Iowa, then yes, Will, you would be absolutely right. They would sink each other.
I would add into it that it would depend on what time the engagement happened. If it happened at night, the Japanese would have been screwed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If it happened during the day in good weather, which we would not have allowed, it would have been a give and take.
Here's the reason why I say what I say, is because the problem with the Yamato was the fact that because of the recoil of the guns, it required resighting the guns every single time they fired a full broadside.
Iowa can deliver more salvos faster, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And was firing shells that were what, 250 pounds heavier,
something like that. Yeah.
Even though they were smaller shells, they were heavier.
Well, because Yamato, I mean, their rate of fire was a lot lower, and watching the Iowa fire, it was a pop, 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 pop. You know, it was a per turret salvo, and they fired off within a couple seconds of each other.
Well, no. Okay. What you have to understand is the reverberation of the guns firing on the Yamato were through the hull of the ship and up the superstructure was enough to offset the fire directors. Like, that's how violent the recoil of these guns were.
Well, that's jumping the ship off course almost.
Basically.
Pretty much.
And so that's why I've always said that the problem with the Yamato is that it was armed with 18.1 inch guns. If it had been armed with 16.1 inch guns like the Nagato, it would have been a much more efficient ship, and in reality probably would have been better than the Iowas in terms of anti-aircraft performance.
I'm gonna have to disagree with the anti-aircraft performance, but that is because of the inherent flaw of Japanese anti-air.
Well, yes, if you're talking about the 25 millimeter, yes, you're absolutely correct.
They
My
had
point is
barrels and actions, but the whole gun assembly, the mount, the fire directors were horrific.
Yes,
Mike, an ask point. As far as the Iowa and the Yamato is concerned, the maneuverability aspect of the Iowa would have put it ahead for me.
That's 6 to 1, half dozen the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason why, like you said, when they were first trying out a prototype, like 18-inch gun, like back in the like along the World War I, early 20s timeline, that the USN kind of decided, this is really just a little bit too big to really be an efficient weapon. Said the ship that would be able to carry a useful battery of these would be so big and expensive, we'd probably only be able to build half of what we could with, like, say, 16-inch armed ships. And then they came out and said, you know what, if we use 16-inch super heavy shells and have the guns to where they can elevate to like 50 degrees and use the damn things like a mortars at long range and come down through the deck armor, so,
that's why we put so much money into targeting in general, but especially radar targeting.
Now, managing a direct hit with one of them 18-inch guns, though, would be catastrophic.
Yeah, if anything got hit by one of those 18s, it was going to disappear. Except for destroyers, and I wish I could remember what the name of that destroyer is.
Taffy 3.
They found Taffy the Taffy 3 flotilla, but specifically one of the destroyers. When they went down and looked at it, it's got a hole from one of the 18-inch guns in the thing, in the bridge structure. Passes all the way through the whole thing. They were still fighting an hour later.
Wait, wasn't that the Johnston?
Yeah,
it might have been.
And you want to know why it had an 18-inch size hole in it instead of missing the entire superstructure when that shell went through? Because the Japanese thought they were going up against the main fleet and were going to be going up against other battleships. They had armor-piercing shells loaded.
I was going to say,
of high explosive.
It wasn't an HE.
That's right. They thought they were fighting heavy cruisers and battleships. They thought they had run into the picket line for the standard fleet, standard battle line.
What did they run into instead?
They ran into an escort flotilla.
Yeah,
it was like three destroyers. It was three destroyers
and one escort carrier.
Yeah. So basically, in most situations, an Iowa would be able to come out on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have gone into port for years, but yeah, it would have probably come out on top.
Allowing for intangibles like, crew training, how good they were at gunnery, and going by the technical specs and such, I could probably give the advantage to Iowa, but it's like you said, nothing else. It would probably have come down to whoever landed the first effective hit as far as who won that battle.
Well, and again,
we could have dragged the war. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to point this out. What was the one ship that the U.S. Navy was truly afraid of when it came to the Japanese battleship divisions? What was the one ship?
Couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
It was the Nagato.
Nagato, yes.
It was
makes sense.
because the Nagato was a proven ship, and across the board was a very good ship.
That was the one ship on World of Warships. I'm not gonna lie.
What was the only battleship to survive World War II on the Japanese side?
The Nagato.
It was the fucking Nagato. And mind you, they had dropped so many fucking bombs on that thing, and they still couldn't fucking sink it.
I wish we could have gone on long enough to actually see the USS Washington.
The Montana class?
Yes.
There was already a USS Washington. It was a North Carolina class.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yes.
No, I'm thinking solely the Montana class. It would have been the USS Montana.
Oh. Those things would have been absolutely monsters.
So something I just read. You know how they eventually ended up taking out the Nagato?
They blew it up. They blew it up and turned it into a reef because it got scuttled after the war.
Yeah, no. So they nuked it.
Yeah, it was at Bikini Atoll.
Yeah. Oh, it was. I forgot about. Yeah. I forgot about that.
They technically took a nuke to take that ship down.
Well, then you also had the old USS Nevada. They nuked it twice, and then they finally had to tow it out off of the coast of Hawaii, and took them like 3 or 4 hours of frickin' target practice, and finally a couple torpedoes to sink the damn thing.
Right, so they nuked it and it survived?
Yeah.
A different
2 nukes.
Yeah.
Airburst and underwater, and the thing was still afloat. This was Nevada, built like in the 1910s, and then they towed it off Hawaii, and took like 3 or 4 hours of target practice, shooting at it with a fucking Iowa, and bombing it, and finally they just had to torpedo the goddamn thing to finally fucking sink it.
Okay, so here's the thing. So whatever class the Arizona, Oklahoma, and Pennsylvania were, and most of them were sank in Pearl Harbor.
Was that the Nevada class or the Pennsylvania class?
Oklahoma was the one that got caught 6 torpedoes in its side and capsized. Yeah, it was Nevada. It was a sister to the Nevada.
It was the sister to Nevada and the Arizona.
So these ships, I mean, I really like aesthetically the ship design, but I don't know how practical they would have been being a post-war dreadnought.
Oh, absolutely not at all.
Yeah, they were limited to 21 knots, so yeah.
They only had
World War II. They were relegated to shore bombardment once we got into the war.
Yeah,
I was going to say
standard fleet line.
Yeah.
So
those
were the guys that went out in like a dozen.
I would say they seem to be relatively easy to sink.
Yeah.
Well, when you catch 6 torpedoes at once. You're not at battle stations, don't have the ship buttoned up, and you don't have time to counterflood or do damage control or try to evade or anything. Well, yeah,
Yeah, the bellies of these ships have sump pump systems, don't they?
Oh,
yeah, but you're sitting in port tied up. You got no internal power. no steam,
Yep.
no nothing. You're depending on shore power to where bombs start dropping. Guess what? Shore power goes away, and the ship's not buttoned up. You half the crew's on shore, still on liberty on shore. Yeah, and those ships weren't designed to take that many torpedoes in one fucking side. You know?
So
or that big of a torpedo.
For a different war.
Yeah, to be completely fair to those ships, it was simply down to circumstance. They were caught in the perfect circumstance to put them down very easily. I will point out that again, you're talking about a series of ships that a lot of them did not sink immediately at Bikini Atoll. A lot of them. Yeah. There's a reason why they dropped the second bomb. Like, at the end of the day, these ships, the limiting factor of them was their turrets and their speed. They did not have the speed in order to compete with the fast battleships, and the elevation of their guns limited them to fighting within, I believe it was the 30-kilometer range.
Yeah.
Basically
the old standards. I think the max elevation they had on their guns is like about, after they were rebuilt in the 30s, max elevation was like 30 degrees.
Well, the Iowa is like a whole different animal from some of those dreadnoughts.
Oh, absolutely.
The Iowa was supposed to be the fast battleship, and was supposed to be the bridge between battlecruiser and a fast battleship, leaning towards a full battleship, with the Montana coming in to replace the Standards as the full heavy battleship. And if the war kept going, that's what would have happened.
Wow.
Well, the one reason they canceled the Iowas earlier in the war was they already had the South Dakotas and the Iowas going. Far enough along, they had the resources, but they were already learning we need carriers more than we need battleships. Plus, the Montanas were so wide when they authorized the Iowas, they also authorized the money for widening the locks on the Panama Canal.
Yep.
Because they were too wide to go through. So when the war kicked off, they said, now would be a bad time to take out the Panama Canal to widen the locks. And so we can just take the resources we've already got allocated and money we got allocated for the Montana class, and we can put them into building more carriers and other ship types that we need, because looking at the whole total said we already got enough fast, quote unquote, fast battleships coming down the line. We can do without the Montanas.
Yep.
And that's what resulted in, I forget the name of the class off the top of my head. It was the escort carrier based off the Cleveland class light cruisers.
Yep. That's how we ended up with like 100 of the damn things.
Yes, those escort carriers were fucking everywhere.
So there literally been over 100 of them at one point.
So was the South Dakota and
remember the Cleveland class? The Cleveland class had what, like 70 ships in the line?
Something like that.
So was the South Dakota and the North Carolina, weren't they also classified as them fast battleships?
Yeah, because they could hit like 28 knots. Yeah.
Well, they look like they're laid out like the Iowa. They just don't have that wedge bow. What's the difference?
They were designed and already in the pipeline while all the treaty limits were still in effect.
So they're Versailles ship?
Yeah, basically.
Washington.
No, not Versailles.
Washington
Naval Treaty. Or by the 1930s, it was a London Naval Treaty. 35,000 ton and like that. The North Carolinas were just when they were getting ready to start laying them down, like 1936. They were originally designed. They were supposed to have quadruple 14-inch gun turrets, but then just before they got ready to lay them down, they found out, hey, the Japanese just violated the frickin' treaty. That activated a rider clause in there to where they could switch the North Carolinas over to triple 16-inch guns.
Yep.
And the South Dakota's already design was already pretty well set for those. But that Japanese dropping out, that also activated the rider to where they could go up to 45,000 tons on the next battleship class, and that's where the Iowas came from.
And that's also where we get Midway class, the Midway class carriers.
Yep.
And the Midway and me and Mitch have had a very long conversation about this. That something in the tonnage of the Midway class is definitely what the U.S. needs more than anything.
So the Iowa class is basically the engineers getting incredibly excited that the treaty gloves came off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's just see what we can do with all this new technology we've developed over the last 20 years.
Let me put it to this way. So I went to Norfolk and actually got to get on the Wisconsin. And being on BB-63 and be able to go down to the fire to the plotting room for the fire control and being able to look at those mechanical computers, motherfucker.
Oh, those things are insane.
Oh,
so, shit, because it's like it's a ridiculous negotiation between a lot of people right now. These ships are ready to recommission, correct?
No, about 10 or 15 years ago, Congress did away with the requirement to keep them in a state to where they could be reactivated in short order. They're strictly museum ships now.
Now,
theoretically, you could recommission them, but it would take about 2 years, 2 to 3 years, because you'd have to go over the things with such a fine-tooth comb and clean them out of all the gunk in the pipings, in the boilers, in everything.
Now, I do want to point something out. They just did an inspection on the Missouri, and mind you, the Missouri is the one that they're most scared of degrading because it's usually based in Hawaii, so it's the one that's in the more acidic water, technically speaking, quote unquote. They did an inspection of the hull like 2-3 years ago, and it was noted in the report that, hey, this hull is looking really fucking good, actually.
Yeah, the hulls on them are actually still in good condition. It's the machinery inside.
Yeah.
Have an absolute nightmare of a time dealing with.
Because I heard Trump had the discussion kind of like Reagan did about budget cuts to the Navy and redirecting them to retrofitting older ships potentially.
So we don't know how to build ships anymore.
That's centered around the Ticonderogas, because the Ticonderogas do need an update. Like, look at the fiasco with the Gettysburg, for example. But here's the thing: is that unfortunately, here's the, and me, Mitch, and I forget who else was in that conversation, but we were actually deep diving it a little bit. Like, could we actually utilize the refit plans from 1983 when they were talking about refitting the Iowas into basically BLS carriers? The problem with that is that it would be better just to build whole new vessels.
Yeah, my dad was actually on the decommissioning crew for the Missouri in Pearl Harbor. He was taking the ship apart. So we're gutting all kinds of high-end electronics out of that ship.
Yeah. They would... Yeah, they'd basically just have to take the top off of the whole damn ship at deck level and rebuild the thing. You'd have a hull.
It'd be a whole new superstructure for the hardware we have now.
Mm-hmm. Well, they'd have to gut the hull. Basically, they'd have to take all the machine works out. Power plant, everything.
Is there still any practical justification for having a ship of the line?
With the way wars are possibly going to be fought, anybody that tells you yes or no is blowing smoke out of their ass. The answer is we simply don't know.
So I will actually present a case for both sides. So one, there is the no side. The problem is that in order to make these ships efficient for the modern day, for the sake of speed, for the sake of longevity, for the sake of actually making them efficient and effective, they have to be nuclear.
Yep.
And thus, they're going to be expensive as fuck.
You'd have to rip out the power plants out of the new aircraft carriers and shoehorn them in.
Well, that's actually the really cool thing, is that there is a new power plant that is supposedly, because it's the Kennedy that's in production right now, right?
I think so.
So the Kennedy is being built. It's using the same power plant as the Ford. But supposedly there is a new reactor that's technically a dual reactor that they're looking to potentially put in the follow-on ships.
Oh.
It's basically the same footprint, but it gives 2 reactors to utilize. It produces about 20 to 25% more energy overall. But in the event of an emergency, if one of the reactors goes down, the other reactor is still running.
That's a good thing.
Yes, very.
Because you don't want to have a reactor scram and then be stuck there.
Yes. The thing is that reactor, because it has the overall same footprint, allows for a situation where it could be used in a ship similar to size of the Iowa. Now, the other advantage, and this is where the yes comes into play, look at what the Russians just did.
Was it recommissioning those battle cruisers?
They just recommissioned the Admiral Kutsov.
That is a beautiful ship.
Yeah.
Oh, have you seen the recommission?
No.
Oh my God! It is. Oh my God!
What is it? Is it a command cruiser? Is it a heavy missile cruiser? What is it?
They're primarily going to be used as a command and control boat with the ability to dump a fuck ton of missiles at whatever the hell they need to.
Okay, so it's got a bunch of missile batteries on it.
Don't worry.
Each of those diagonal tubes on it was 2 missiles.
No, it's got like 150 VLS tubes as well.
Yeah.
The two big tubes are for the the hypersonic fucking anti-ship missiles that they're using.
Yeah, they've been able to retrofit for hypersonic missiles, yeah.
Would there be any practical use for a long-range deck gun?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. If they go and dig up all the information that they cancel when they canceled the 5-inch gun for the new class of cruisers that are pieces of crap. The extended range munitions. If they can get those working, absolutely. And then transfer it to a 16-inch shell.
So you don't need a high I was gonna say a high caliber gun like a battleship gun.
Well, that's the thing, here's the thing. The guns, I have made this comment to multiple people that a reformatting of the Iowa to have central VLS tubes where it could launch anti-ship missiles, but then in the event that the anti-missile defense screen is too thick, guns are going to become a thing. And as time goes on, we're going to try to beat missiles time and time again. So at the end of the day, fuck it, load up the guns.
So, Dad, actually, it's funny you say that because as crazy as my father is, I agree with this theory of his. He said everyone's tech is going to get so profoundly complex that there's going to be an implosion of the entire Cold War tech, race, because everyone's not going to be able to see each other. No one's going to be able to. It's going to get too expensive. So he's like, everyone's going to revert in a lot of ways back to very, very practical.
It's already happening. It's already happening.
Yeah, it's going to end up in Star Wars knife range.
Too far.
let me give you an example. The Arena 2M. Have you heard of it?
No.
The missile defense system.
The anti-missile defense, or the APS, that is utilized on the T-90. The Arena 2M is the modernized version of it, which can defeat top attack munitions.
Wow.
Yeah, you have to overwhelm it.
Literally, at this point in time, they've captured enough javelins that they've been using javelins to test against it. And at this juncture, if I remember correctly, the rumor is, because they didn't put out the exact number, but the rumor is you have to fire 4 to 5 javelins at this thing at once in order to overwhelm it.
So that theory, as a principle, is reasonable.
Yeah. Well, at some point we will have to go back to direct fire or dumb munitions, because the quality of the active deterrence will be so good that we can't hit shit.
Well, look at what I was talking about with, and Mitch, you might remember this conversation. Remember when I said, take all of the 5-inch gun batteries off of an Iowa and just stick phalanx Sea-Wiz in their places? You're never touching that boat with a fucking missile. It's just never going to happen.
As long as it has ammunition.
Well, yeah, of course.
They need to change the gun out of it. They need to change the Gatling out of that to basically what the A-10 has. Because the Sea-Wiz doesn't have the range anymore.
Oh yeah,
missiles
absolutely.
are moving too fast. But if they switch that out to longer barrel, higher caliber, and it's basically a 1-to-1 switch of the Gaut 12.
Well, no, so yeah. you're talking about what is called the Phalanx 30. So the Phalanx 30. So the difference between the current Phalanx and the Phalanx 30 is its square body. So if you've seen the videos of the square Sea-Wizes, that's a Phalanx 30. That is the Gaut 19.
I don't think they up-barreled and up-calibered the system in it. I think they used the same gun.
No, I've seen versions that use a Gaut 19.
Really?
Yeah, it's a 30 mil.
Okay. Well, I'll take your word for it.
And the whole thing is that, yes, you're absolutely fucking correct. Oops, I did not close that all the way. Oh crap! I forgot to mention that to Josh. Sorry, thinking out loud. But yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. The current Phalanx does not have the range to compete with the current missile tech. You're absolutely correct.
Yep. And the Russians are beating us on that because of their ballistic defenses.
Oh, absolutely. But my point still stands that you want to beat missiles. Like anybody who goes like, oh, I just have to use missiles against the Iowa. You can't. I'm just going to put phalanxes where the 5-inch guns are. And it's going to give me 360 fucking coverage. Good luck coming from the broadside because you're going to have 3 guns bare minimum fucking aiming at you.
Yeah, each of the Iowas before the 80s refit had 5-inchers on mounts on each side. They yanked 2 of each of them to put box cruise missiles on them. If I remember correctly, they did a bunch of other stuff, but yeah, if they switched those out, and I think there was talk at one point of pulling the B turret and filling that void with VLS.
Anyways, seems we are running up on close to 3 hours. I think we might have covered everything we needed to cover today.
Yeah, I think we've kind of.
Yeah.
We kind of wandered off into just general bullshitting.
Indeed.
Midnight conversation.
Yeah, so with that, I think it's best to end the show here. Goodbye, everyone. See you next week.